Hello world, and welcome back to my chaos. Today we'll be expanding on my Parents' Day cards for 2021. It's technically not cards, it's prints, but that's fine. It's Parents' Day prints. Anyway, today we're going to be expanding those with my Father's Day print for 2021. Much like last month's Mother's Day video, I'm gonna take you through the entire process from designing to cutting to printing, all in all. But unlike last month's video, I'm gonna be cutting this one up into 3 different segments. And today we're gonna be focusing on the design process. This is my dabble, I'm D, let's dabble. So last year I created the Father's Day print and the Mother's Day print so they could kind of go together, and I'm gonna do the same principle this year with the Mother's and Father's Day prints, but it's also designed so that the 2 Father's Day prints can work well together, just like the Mother's Day prints can. I haven't been able to make the 2 different years Mother and Father's Day prints work together, but I guess that's fine. I'm gonna be alright with that. So we're gonna go back to the outline I also talked about in last month's Mother's Day video. Oh my god, that's a mouthful. And we're gonna take a look at the last corner segment of this matrix. What did I call them last time? This matrix of parents. So that's basically the concept. Create a corner Father's Day print that can work with this year's Mother's Day print and last year's Father's Day print. Yes. The first order of business is to go straight into the sketchbook and to get the lines formed there physically, I guess. I'm starting off with the not yet but will be iconic X shape and just work out the pieces from there, really. Last year we had a father with no hair and a big beard, and I think this year I kinda wanna go with the sort of... I had this greaser look in my mind, so I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and try that. I started out not giving him an ear because, well, it didn't feel right. Also, last year's Father's Day print didn't have an ear, but when I did put it in, it made the whole thing work together. So I guess that's one of the reasons you need to try out different versions and ideas and examples before you settle on just the one. Anyway, his arms seemed a little bit bare, so I decided to put a shirt on him, I guess, or like some sort of shirt cuffs, I think. They could also just be pool floaties, but yeah, I don't know. It's art, so I'll let that be up to the viewer. I don't know, was that pretentious enough? Is this even funny? I don't know. Nobody cares. Move on, D. Move on. What I have been thinking about since last year, basically, one of the few things I really feel like is missing from last year's Father's Day print is this sort of cartoonish show of arm hair. So I put it in this year because, hey, why not? And I do think it kind of works. And I sort of want to add it in on everyone now. I'm probably not gonna, but I want to. I want to. Anyway, that's the sketch. So now the sketch has been done, and that means I'm gonna take a picture because it's gonna be much easier to put that into a photo than it is to scan the page because it's in a sketchbook and it's warped-ish. I don't want shadows in my scans. Anyway, I scan the picture and then I plop it into Illustrator. I've learned my lesson from the last couple of times I've made this print, and that is that if you don't do the underlying proportion sketch, It's gonna be bad. Spoiler, I haven't actually learned it because my proportions are all out of control on this one. But don't tell anyone. They'll figure it out for themselves. So I took the old sketch from the last one, then turned it around and then imported the sketch into there and made it kind of fit. So it's a bit stretched, but that's okay. Then I drew all the lines up in vector because you can get these kind of flowy, almost. I'm looking for a word, I can't remember what the word is. Anyway, drawing it up in vector makes some really clean lines and you can get some really smooth circles and stuff. So I do that, really. And it works quite well. When I'm done with that, I save it and then I pop it into Photoshop because while I want the humanoid characters to be this geometric line thingamajig, I want the flower details to be more organic and a bit more crisscross is the only words and way of saying it I can come up with. I kind of want it to be a bit more sketchy. So going into the flower designs, I just play around with a bunch of stuff, and every single time I make these, my repertoire of different flowers just expands. Some of the flowers are created from approximations of real flowers. I'll just leave you with a bit of relaxing music for this one. So now we have the design. I'm just gonna place it into InDesign, make sure it's in the right direction and print it. And there we have it. The design has been printed and is ready for transfer. So next time we are gonna move on to the cutting of the lino and how I transfer the design onto the block. And if you want spoilers on my process of doing this, you can watch the video for Mother's Day, or you can join me next time for the cutting process of the Father's Day print, unless it's already out. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this time. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think, and hopefully I'll see you next time. So thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.